All right, so this is where we have Quake, Ghost, and Kitty Pryde bans. All right, so Boss Island Spot, we've got Blade and Fury as options. Mephisto, you've got S99 and Blade. Quicksilver, you've got Elsa, Fury. Doom, you've got S99 and Magneto. Omega Sentinel, you've got Galan and Nebula. Fury, you've got Havoc and even Omega Red. Spider Supreme, probably go with S99 and just hit into block. Anything outside of that would be kind of risky with the buff and miss mechanic. And then Anti-Venom, any of the skill debuff detox options with damage over time. So Falcon or Black Widow, Gwenpool, the such. 1 through 3 on the way out. Infamous Doom. You could go with Doom and Mr. Fantastic synergy. So armor break focus, or you can go with someone like Galan or Hulkling. Path 1, nothing too special. Again, you could use any of the debuff detox options for King Groot, and then for Warlock, you can use Nebula or Galan. Path 2, you can use Titania or S99 for Mangog, and S99 or a Shock Immune or a Neutralize option for Galan with an Odin pre-fight. So a Rintrah with an Odin pre-fight. Path 3, Nimrod, you've got Claire and Nebula, and then Silver Surfer. You've got Doom he's whitelisted in easiest counter, so I wouldn't go anywhere else but Doom. 4 through 6 on the way out, Mr. Fantastic. You've got Falcon. You've got any of the skill debuff detox champions along with Fury. And then on the way in, Kitty Pryde, you've got Nimrod and Omega Sentinel. Path 4, again, you could use any of the skill options for Spam or Fury, skill debuff detox options, and then for Claire, you can wait for the boss to go down and use Warlock, or you can go with Overseer. Path 5, CMM, you can use Symbiote Supreme or Hood, and then for Sasquatch, you've got Mr. Negative and Overseer, and then for Path 6, Nimrod or Cap Sam for Apocalypse, and then Fury or any of the science or skill options for Human Torch. 7 through 9 on the way out, Mojo. You've got S99 as the best option. You can probably risk it with a Magic or Archangel. On the way in, Immortal Abomination. I would go with any of the half immune debuff detox options like Ultron or Nebula, and just keep an eye on the power gain. Path 7, Arcus, I would go with Symbiote Supreme or Hood, and then for Korg, Omega Red or Havoc. Although that would kind of get risky with the unblockable. So actually just go with Omega Red, and if you use any mutant option with energy damage, use a White Magneto pre-fight. So White Magneto would probably work. Path 8, Mordo, S99, or an evade counter. I mean, he's not too difficult without the global anymore. And then Hulkling, Hood, or Symbiote Supreme, or S99, and Odin pre-fights for those first two Mystic options. Path 9, Nimrod or Omega Sentinel for Domino, and then Cosmic Ghost Rider or an armor break option like Terrax for Killmonger. 1 through 3, Section 2 and way in, we had a Joe. Galan can still work there, so I'd probably go with Galan. I would actually be interested to see if Omega Sentinel would work, because I don't think glancing prevents the pause, nor would it prevent the special 3 incinerate. So you could just kind of get 6 incinerates and pause the entire fight. Or you could use Fury and just kind of nuke them down. Middle Mini Maw, I would go with Overseer or S99. Void, I would go with Havoc or Falcon. 1 through 3 in section 1 on the way out. Mephisto, nothing special there. You can use Galan or Hulkling. Path 1, you can use S99 for the whole thing, or bring a Thing counter or a Warlock counter to the healing. And then for Chavez, you could use any of the other science buff immune options like Ant-Man or Titania. Ant-Man might struggle damage-wise. Titania would still benefit. Path 2, S99 Ant-Man or Titania, or even Mr. Negative. Path 3, Hood or Symbiote Supreme. Just kind of nuke her down. 4 through 6 on the way out, Rintraw. I would probably go with Overseer, maybe She-Hulk or Titania as well. Path 4, Terrax, Hood would be my top option, and then maybe Kingpin or Symbiote Supreme. Path 5, Gorr, you've got Symbiote Supreme or Hood, and then Mr. Negative, you could use any of the debuff detox options. And then path 6 there, I would go with Overseer just to control the power gain, or you could use someone like Fury and just kind of nuke her down with knocking her down and making her bleed out. 7 through 9 on the way out, Weapon X, you've got Omega Sentinel, and Nimrod is actually who I meant to say first, top option. Path 7, Ant-Man, nothing to really worry about there. Use any of the debuff detox if you care about it, or Fury. And then Guardian, you've got CGR, you've got Galan, you've got plenty of options. Path 8, Cosmic Ghost Rider, again, nothing really to worry about. Use any of the Mystic debuff detox, so Symbiote Supreme or Hood. And then path 9, Bishop, I would use Ultron or actually just Ultron. Nimrod would be risky. You could use G99 but unramped. And then for Null, same thing, you could use Omega Red. No, not Omega Red. You could use Overseer, any of the half immune. So Havoc, Overseer, half immune debuff detox options. They cover a lot as long as they're half immune. But yeah, so that does it for defense. Let's take a look at attack. All right, so War 4, we have an alliance called Chaos. Today, I'm going to be taking in Titania, Falcon, and Hood. I've got Path 5 in Section 1 and Path 2 in Section 2. I have a middle mini-boss and a mini-boss on Boss Island. So a decent load this war. I think it comes out to about 6 fights. But Path 5 here, starting with Gorr, we're going to take it with Hood. The game plan here was to build the Special 2, basically cycle Special 2s. And while the protection is down and we've got the Fury, hopefully we have a miss up so that we can just very easily cause miss and heavy counter. If not, we'll wait for debuff immunity to fall and we'll just parry heavy and end the fight. The kind of benefit here to using Hood is that you can go debuff immune or get rid of any of the damage over time debuffs just from having one charge. So if I have to take a blocked hit through a parry or whatnot, I can actually remove one of each type as long as I have a charge. So there were 2 Special 2s. I recognize that this Fury is going to expire, so I'm not going to detonate. I'm going to keep baiting out these Special 1s, keep my hexes going, try to get to the next Special 2, which should be pretty soon, right about here. Get this last Special 1 out. Don't have any misses there. Going to go in, cause miss, heavy counter, and finish the fight. So super easy fight for Hood. That was only a rank 3 Hood. So rank 4 even easier. Mr. Fantastic on the next node, super easy to fight. The global actually doesn't make him a pain at all. What is nice, and this is kind of a unique trait that I like about debuff detox, is that it makes the debuffs on certain champs that are usually problematic even easier to deal with. So, for example, with Mr. Negative here, I can parry heavy the entire fight because a cleanse charge is going to get rid of the delirium. So I never have to deal with inverse controls, which means I can reliably parry throughout the entire fight. And I'm guaranteed to have a cleanse charge when I parry. So as long as I don't put myself in a situation that I parry, don't knock Mr. Negative down, and he throws a special 1, even in that scenario, honestly, as long as I'm not caught dealing with a special 1 while he has light energy and I don't have charges, which would be pretty tough, I don't have to deal with reverse controls. So it's going down super easy. Protection is actually gone here. I still decided to knock him down a bunch. It's really just me flexing on him and buying time. I have to parry this node, so I figured if I'm going to parry, I'm going to knock down after I parry so that we don't deal with that special 1 scenario. But yeah, down he goes. Super easy. Not a hard fight for Falcon. Not really a hard fight for anyone. On to node 22. We're taking this with Void. Obviously, this is a scary fight, or can be a scary fight. But what you're going to see, at least at the start, is that Falcon dominates this pretty well. You know, with the debuff detox, the special 1 to cycle combo meter, and the locked on to prevent hazard shift from popping up, he counters this fight really well. So it's going to be a completely dominating fight. And then I'm just going to have issues with my own gameplay, and I'll kind of call those out as we go. So here we are, locked on, throwing the special 1. I had actually forgotten about the aggressive prowess, so even more of a reason to spam special 1. It removes it the fastest due to the number of hits from all the bullets. And at about 50% here, obviously Void's going really smooth. I'm going to wait out my cooldown on locked on. Right about 50%, I screw up a special 1 from him. My thumb sticks to the screen, and like a dummy, I decide to try and dash back in, even though it failed the first time. I think it's right about here. No, it's after this. So here we go. He's in his final third. Special 1 here. Thumb slipped, threw it again, and it ate it. There's going to be one more oops, and that's me thinking I parried when I didn't. And it's coming up, I think, right here. Thought I parried. And I actually just completely missed a block. It wasn't even a parry. It was a missed parry. So there I'm kind of like, all right, let's not screw this up. We've got this fight really easily. We've already caused this fight to cost more potions than it should. Let's just finish it, please. And down goes Void. So made it really dramatic there at the end, but as you can see, Falcon just kind of nukes it down. Titania coming in for this path 2 here. Mangog, my game plan here. What I would like to do is build the special 3 and heavy nuke him. But what I'm not going to do is that, because the defender has been with stand your ground, stunning people even though it's an unblockable hit. So I decide we're just going to end combos, medium, light, 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 not a full 5-hit combo. I don't want to give him too much hatred. Build the special 2, end that combo into the special 2. And I'm going to, once he has a bar of power or is close, I'm going to end that combo with a block instead of dashing back so that we can bait out a heavy to push him to special 2, and then we're just going to block all of special 2. I'm not even going to dash in if I have the haymaker ready to go. There's our first special 2. He's already at 50%. And now with that physical vulnerability debuff and refreshing it the entire time, we're going to do a lot more damage. Plus we have all these furies built up at this point. Now it's just cycling special 1s after we get this special 2 out here. Really just making sure we don't eat a special 2 and end up ruining this fight. Haymaker's ready, so I'm just going to dash in, throw the special 1. And I think it's going to be one more build up the special 1. He might KO right before it. Oh, right here. And we actually finish him with a few basic attacks. So easy fight for Titania. The next one is actually a bad assignment. But because I practice in a duel, I actually noticed a bug with Galan. So Galan, you would want to use Neutralize to prevent his planetary mass from building, because even if you stagger or stagger a buff from him, he still gains the planetary mass. But what I noticed in a duel was the stagger was actually preventing planetary mass, at least half of it, from his special 1. So instead of gaining 40 like he should from the 4 fury buffs on special 1, he's only going to gain 20, which makes preventing planetary mass, and you can see right there 20, a lot easier to manage with stagger. So I'm actually going to stick completely to parry heavy for this entire fight. I thought I might want to use special 1, but as I saw here, it wasn't doing enough damage. The special 1 idea was so that I never got caught without a stagger and Galan throwing special 1. But I figured since I'm going to go ahead and throw parry heavy the entire fight and special 1 didn't do that much damage, I'm going to need the special 2 to kind of speed this up. So I decide after that first special 1 to build the special 2s. And it actually works out nicely. Since this ends up being, since I ended up focusing on parry heavy this entire fight, it kind of draws it out a lot longer than it probably needs to be. I don't need to be as aggressive with parry heavy if Galan doesn't already have a bar of power. And I'm sure doing full combos or light attacks will actually ramp her up more and speed this fight up. I make one mistake there, and why that is so crucial is that it actually gave Galan buffs, which allowed him to go into Harvest. So I actually ended up taking Harvest damage this fight, not meaning to. I couldn't let that happen again. It'd be pretty bad if he ends up doing 3 Harvests, because that would KO me. So comes the second special 2. And I believe it's going to take 1 more. However, I end up trying to throw a special 2 before I have the special 2. I thought my combat rate was actually going to push me to special 2, and it does not. I did decide this fight, or this war, since we had a pretty good lead, that when Galan was against the wall and didn't have a bar of power, that I was going to chain heavy attacks, completely ignoring whether he had stand your ground or not. And I luckily didn't get punished for it. But I would not assign this in the future, especially next season where I think this bug is going to get fixed, because this is not how that's supposed to function. I'm just happy that it is working this way after, or since I got assigned it, and that I know about that now before it was going to cost me a death. So Galan should go down right here with this special 1. If not, he goes down with, yeah, there it is, the special 1. So Titania's showing up, doing her job. Pretty easy fight, kind of long. And then Anti-Venom here. We're going to take him with Falcon. Thought Anti-Venom might be a pretty pain in the butt unsteady ground defender, especially on path 1B. And I see the logic here with this. If I can't, out damage the regen, then he would be a healing monster here. However, that one crucial signature ability note, where if you get rid of this debuff, he doesn't heal when you hit him. And since that's gone now, we can lay into him pretty much the entire fight. Just like Mr. Negative, we're not going to get caught in a situation where we don't have any cleanse charges to get rid of debuffs. So the likelihood of that debuff coming back and us causing him to regen is very, very slim. So you see here, obviously when locked on, it's not going to trigger it, but no locked on, no regen. It's because that debuff is gone. And that makes this champion just a potato. He ends up being a diversity kill. So yeah, this is the fight. I decided special 1s thanks to safeguard, even though when I'm locked on and I throw special 2, it's not going to cap the damage. It's just me kind of making space to spend so much time in the beginning trying to get rid of that debuff by dexing and getting enough blocked hits that you kind of get yourself cornered. And you spend the rest of the fight with the large, extra large champ trying to work yourself out of the corner, since there's so many dexes just to try and get a special attack out. But this will do it. Should be the next combo. And down goes Anti-Venom. So easy fight. That was the end of my war. Our battle group actually only died 2 times to their 10, so we had a pretty good war, not even comparing to them. We ended up winning this 28-6. So another good death range for us. Opponents still dying way more than we are, but not a bad start for us. This is exactly what we kind of want, just to kind of nuzzle ourselves up there, and increase our chances of finishing Masters. So hope you guys enjoyed the war video. Hit subscribe, give the video a like, and I'll catch you guys at the next war.